So as I was saying about the second part of the video is very simple. See, guys, I gotta gather my thoughts. I was doing something here, but as I was driving, I was just kind of putting together what I was gonna say, and maybe this is just part of the videos that needs to be put out there, which is fine. Either way, yeah, they're just not happy that this is happening, right? The deep state isn't really too excited about all this. They know my galactic family likes to answer these questions for them and intervene in that way because they don't like them hanging out with me anymore or communicating with me directly. So when I do post these videos, I don't know if the deep state's gonna ask any more questions again, but once I do post these videos, it's just for that everybody to know that everything's all right and everything's gonna be okay. So then the questions were very specific about me at some point, because there's, the level of curiosity just it doesn't suffice for them just to realize that this is just my gift that I have and I have to share with humanity. And I also, I raised my right hand and said a few words that are meaningful and impactful for me that I must adhere to. So let's see. They were talking about how many incarnations I've had on this planet, and they told them I had 7. Then they told them to mention some. So they mentioned me. They mentioned me as Hugh Glass, and then I was a friar in England in 1680, and then I was Carlo Gambino in the 70s. So back in the 70s, when JFK was made president, he made a deal with the mob and he was able to gain his presidency in that way. When we tried to liberate the planet, or rather the United States at that time, it was based on the fact that we can go back to the gold standard, which was the goal, and that goal wasn't met because then he started prosecuting, the mob, and he started doing all these things that weren't right. And it wasn't perfect because we don't live in a perfect world. So it's not magically the things that are going to happen for us now aren't going to be perfect. You might hear somebody disclose something and then find out somebody was digging up dirt about this individual and clowning him or anything, or doing some kind of, just putting this person down. But still, the information doesn't make it less accurate. If you're disclosing something that wasn't supposed to be disclosed, or they felt it was right to do it at the time, only to be made out to look like a bad guy, because everybody has something. You can't just pick an angel that's going to liberate you. A lot of people think that you're going to come across people that are just going to be saints coming down from heaven, and they're going to liberate the planet, and then all of a sudden everything's just going to flip over. The people that are going to do that are also as flawed as you and I and anyone else that you come across in the world, because this is just the way that we live in. The aspiration of living in a planet that's perfect, it's ideal, exists because there are places like that that are just purely ethical in lots of ways, and also their points of bickering and discussions based on their choices that they're going to make as a whole are a little more polite in that way, or they all agree to one thing at one time and they move forward with that agreement. You can't, as I've said before, if humanity as a unit made the choice to move forward with these disclosures themselves, then things are going to happen. Never mind how long it'll take. So when the deep state's asking about how can we turn this back, it's just like, there's no going back. You move forward. Forward is the only way. You can't go back. Can you go back prior to the pandemic? Of course not. That's not going to happen. So where does it exist in the mind where something could there's people that think that you can just magically flip a switch and that just things are going to go your way. That's just not the way that it is. It ain't going to happen like that. And that's because, because the progression of humanity is going to be always forward. So with that being said, there's that sort of concern. All right, we need to talk to this guy. We need to get the Syrians here, and we need to figure out what's going on. Mindful of the questions that they had about me. So now you know a little bit about my past history and who I was. And every single individual that starts to ascend and grow and just pick up on themselves as who they are, they're going to remember more about who they were in this lifetime. You know, you can say I'm the black sheep of my family. A lot of my family members look at me and think, well, you could have done something with yourself. Well, I already am doing what my life mission is meant to be, and if this is it. So there's no concern or worry about what I'm doing. You worry about, you know, what feels right for you, because that's just what's going to resonate with you in your heart. So I've just been told generally that this is all done. It's complete. The step in the right direction for humanity, and the way that we flip-flopped back then in the 60s with JFK, that's done for. And there's a good 40 years of my life that I can still spend to make sure that the boat doesn't get rocked, the nukes don't get launched, deals are made, and commerce around the world gets taken care of, and we find the troublemakers out there that are trying to cause trouble, so that it could be all said and done. And then if I have to come back here, then unfortunately I might have to come back here. But lo and behold, I feel like this is the very last time, and I get to go back on vacation to the Pleiades, and really life is good. So I'm really excited about this. If they ever come back with more information, I will fulfill my duty as I swore, and just tell you all about it, because this is what we need to know. This is what everyone that listens to me, or at least the very least believes what I'm saying, needs to know. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.